Now, the today's topic is the storage representation and their address calculation. Now, this storage representation we have to study with respect of arrays. All right. Now, we already know that the array is a data structure. It is abstract data type as well. It provides some storage space for the number of elements, and also it provides some number of operations to carry out in order to manipulate the data or the element that we are going to store in our array, right? So as it is a storage media, we are going to store the number of elements in the array, right? So we already know that the elements in the array are always stored in continuous memory locations, right? So it will be having some starting address in the memory from where our array starts. The number of elements in the array are stored in continuous memory locations, right? So it will be having a particular starting address, and from that starting address, we are going to store our actual elements in the continuous memory locations. If we declare any array of, let us say, size 10, all right, and that array will be holding, let us say, character type elements it is going to store. So for character type of elements, it requires 1 byte of memory. Integer requires 4 bytes of memory. The float and double maybe requiring double than that, that is 8 bytes and so on. Right. So if we are declaring array A of 10 of character type, let us say, so 10 bytes will be reserved in the memory for that particular array. All right. So it will be having a particular base address. So from that base address, number 1 element, second element, third element, up to 10 elements will be stored in a continuous memory location. So this is the memory, we can say, representation. Now, how to calculate the address of a particular element inside the memory? That we want to study in this topic. All right. First of all, we need to understand that there are two types of arrays. Number 1 is single dimensional array, and number 2 is two-dimensional array, or even we can have n-dimension arrays as well. All right, but that is not the part of our syllabus. We have to study here single dimensional array and two-dimensional array. All right, so this we have to study along with the address calculation in single dimensional array as well as two-dimensional array. All right, now let us look at this figure. This is a normal array. All right, don't be confused with so many words here. It is simply an array. All right, so these are the actual elements, that is 15, 7, 11, 44, 93 and 20. These are the actual elements we are going to store in our array. And in the last line, it is nothing but our indices, right? So index of array always starts from 0. So at 0th index, 15 is stored, first index 7 is stored, second index 11 is stored, and so on up to 5th index 20 is stored, right? So this we have already studied, and we are knowing these facts, right? Now this upper line is new for us, right? So these are what? These are actual addresses in memory. All right. See, this actual address is different from the index of an array. All right, both are totally different things. These array indices are just the medium by which we actually access a particular element inside our array. These are just the indices. It has nothing to do with the memory. All right. But here, whatever you are seeing on the screen, that is 1100, 1104, 1108, 1112, 16 and 20. These are the actual memory locations where these elements are actually stored inside the memory, right? So as I earlier told you that array is stored in a continuous memory location. It will be having a particular starting address. All right. So that starting address is nothing but a base address. As you can see here, base address. Here the base address is 1100. That means this array is starting from this 1100 memory location. So first element is stored at the address 1100. That is the first element in our memory. So actual address of the first element of the array is known as base address of the array. So it is very essential that we should know the base address of our array. If we don't know the base address, we cannot calculate the address of any particular element inside our array. So this base address is mandatory. It should always be known to the user. Otherwise, this address calculation is never possible. All right. So in every problem, in every numerical, they will be telling you the base address. Okay. So base address is compulsory. Then you can see here width. Now, what is the width of a particular memory location? That width is dependent on the type of element that you are going to store in your array. Now here, as you can see that we are storing integer type of elements in this array, right? 15, 7, 11, 44, 93, 20. All these elements are of integer type. So integer type of element requires 4 bytes of memory. All right. So that means the width of a particular memory location is 4 bytes. Okay. If we are storing a character type of data in this array, then this width would have been 1 byte. Right. If we are storing double type of value, then it would have been 8 bytes and so on. Right. But this is integer type of data. So the width of these locations are 4 bytes. So here we know the base address, and then we know the width of each memory location. Right. That is starting address we know, and how many bytes each element is going to hold inside the memory, that is also known. So by these two facts, we can calculate the address of any particular element inside the memory. Right. Now see here. This is the formula for calculating the address of a particular element inside the memory. Array of an element, let us say, sorry, this is address. Address of an element, let us say A of I, is calculated using the following formula. A of I is equals to B plus W multiplied by I minus LB. So this is the formula. Now let us understand what is this B, W, I and LB. So B here is what? It is a base address. Right? Base address means what? This address, 1100 in our case. Next, W. It is a storage size of one element stored in the array in byte. Right? So that is the width of that particular storage. That is memory location. Then I. I is the subscript of element whose address is to be found. I is what? It is just a subscript of an element whose address we are going to find. Right. Suppose I want to find the address of, let us say, third element. So I will write here a of 3 is equals to and that particular address. All right, likewise. So this is the just subscript, or you can say the index of a particular element whose address is to be found. And lastly, this LB. LB stands for lower limit or lower bound of subscript. That is from where the index starts. It is usually 0. Right, because array index always starts from 0. So it is in the problem, in the numerical, it is always mentioned that the starting address is or the lower limit is 0. If not mentioned, then you will have to assume it as 0. Right, it is always 0. But sometimes we do start the array index from 1 also. That depends upon the programmers, right? How they actually code their program. But it is always recommended that the array index should be starting from 0, right? So this B is base address, W is width of a particular element, then I is the subscript of element whose address is to be found, and lower bound starting limit of your array, that is 0. Right. Now let us understand it by this problem. Given the base address of array, this is our actual array. All right. B 1300 to 1900, and base address is what? 1020. That is inside the memory. The array starts from the location 1020. That is the base address. All right. And the size of each element is 2 bytes in the memory. Now we have to find out the address of B of 17. So putting all the values in the in our formula. Right. Here base address is given as 1020. W is given as 2. Right. Base is 1020. W is 2. Now I we have to take as I is the subscript, all right, of the element whose address is to be found. So here the subscript of I is what? It is 1700. LB, what is this LB? It is the starting address of our or the lower bound, right? Now lower bound is what here? 1300. So all these data are ready with us. Now simply putting this in our formula. So B is what? Base address, that is 1020. W is what? 2. Right? W is 2. Lower bound, that is 1300. So putting all these value in this equation, we get 1820 as the actual address of this B 1700. So this is the address calculation in single dimensional array. Now address calculation in double dimensional array, that is 2-dimensional array. The elements will be stored in row and column format. Right. As you can see here in this figure, this is nothing but a 2-dimensional array. Number of rows are 1, 2, and 3, and number of columns are 1, 2, 3, 4. So let us say the name of my array is A. All right. So this 8 element is stored at the location A of 0, 0, because it is stored at the 0th row and 0th column. All right. So the subscript of this element will be what? A of 0, 0. Similarly, this 6 is stored at 0th row and 1st column. So its subscript will be what? Its index will be what? A of 0, 1. Similarly, A of 0, 2 will be 5. A of 0, 3 will be this 4. Right? Now what will be for this 2? It is stored at the first row and 0th column. Right? So its index will be what? A of 1, 0. Index of 1 is what? A of 1, 1. Then for 9, it is A of 1, 2. Then 1, 3 is 7. Similarly, for these 3, A of 2, 0. For 6, A of 2, 1. For 4, A of 2, 2. For these 2, A of 2, 3. Like this, the elements are stored. All right. Now, one thing is very much important here, that even though we are thinking that the elements are stored like this, but the actual elements are never stored in this fashion. Whether it is a one-dimensional array or two-dimensional array, the elements are always stored in a continuous memory locations in a single dimensions only. Two-dimensional arrays are represented by using these two methods. One is row measure and second one is column measure. So see here, this is the first array that you are seeing on the screen. It is a row measure arrangement. That is, row measure means row wise arrangement and column measure means column wise arrangement. Okay, now revisit this figure. Now see here, these elements are stored like 8654, 2197, 3642. All right. If we are following the row measure implementation of this array, then elements will be stored row wise. All right. Row wise means what? 8654 will be stored first. Then after 4, 2197 will be stored. And after 7, 3642 will be stored. You can observe here 8654, then 2197 and then 3642. म्हणजेच पहिल्या रोचे एलिमेंट सगळ्यात पहिले आपण स्टोअर करणार, त्यानंतर दुसऱ्या रोचे एलिमेंट स्टोअर करणार आणि त्यानंतर तिसऱ्या रोचे एलिमेंट्स स्टोअर करणार इन केस ऑफ रो मेजर रिप्रेझेंटेशन. ऑलराइट. In case of column measure representation, we are going to store the elements column wise. How column wise? Now see, there are 4 columns here in this particular diagram, right? Column number 1, column number 0, 1, 2, 3. So the elements will be stored column wise. That means first, the elements of 0th column will be stored, that is 8, 2 and 3. They will be stored. After these 3, 6, 1, 6 will be stored. After 6, 5, 9, 4 will be stored. And lastly, 4, 7, 2 will be stored. You can observe here that. Right, 8, 2, 3, 6, 1, 6, 5, 9, 4 and 4, 7, 2. So, now it should be clear that even if we are having a two-dimensional array, still the elements are always stored in a continuous memory location like this or like this. We do not have multiple lines over here, right? एका सिंगल लाइन मध्ये हे एलिमेंट सगळे स्टोअर होणार आहेत. याचा सुद्धा आपल्याला एक बेस ऍड्रेस असणार आहे. We do have a base address for this as well. Then W, that is width, will also be there. starting address and width will always be there. Now here let us try to calculate the address of a particular element. Now the address for a particular element can be found out by using these two methods. Number one, row measure system, and number two, column measure system. ठीक है, आता इथे तुम्ही you can observe here that a of ij. Now this is what a of I means. What it is the row index, and j means the column index. All right. Now here we have to supply for finding out a particular address of this 9. Let us say in this figure I want to find out the address of 9. So there will be two subscripts for this one. One is row subscript and second one is column subscript. So this 9 is stored at row number 1 and column number 2. So I is 1 here and j is 2 here, right? So a of 1, 2 is 9. This is the first row, that is 0th row. So 4 elements are there in this first row, sorry, 0th row, right? So 8, 6, 5 and 4. So these 4 elements are stored at the starting of your array. After that, we will shift our control to row number 1. So 2197 will be stored next to that. Then we will shift our control to the row number 2. So here also we are storing 4 elements. So 4 elements will be stored at last, right? So likewise, we have converted these row column formatted elements in a single continuous memory location format, right? So this is row measure format, and column measure format is, first of all, we will store the elements column wise, right? So 4 columns are there. In the 0th column, elements are 8, 2 and 3. So here we are storing 8, 2 and 3. Row number 1, 6, 1, 6. So 6, 1, 6, that is column number 1, right? Column number 2, 5, 9, 4, 5, 9, 4, and column number 3, 4, 7 and 2, likewise. So this is the column wise arrangement. Now we have to find out the address of a particular element in both of these arrangements, that is row wise and column wise, right? So this is the formula for calculating the address of a particular element in row measure, and this is the formula for column measure, right? Now here in this case you have to supply 2 dimensions, right? I and j, that is row number and column number for the particular element of which address you want to find out, right? In case of single dimensional array, you had supplied here only 1 dimension, right? A of, let us say, 4. So we are going to find out the address of location, address of element stored at 4th index, right? But here you have to supply 2 dimensions, I and j, that is row number and column number, right? So B is as usual our base address, width is as usual width of a particular element, that is size of that element. Now here n, what n stands for? N is number of columns in a particular matrix, right? Similarly, m is number of rows in a given matrix. So m is rows, n is column, right? Now in this formula you can see here LR and LC, right? LR is the starting, LR is the lower limit of the row or the starting row index from where we are actually starting, right? If it is not given, we have to assume it as 0, as in the case of single dimensional array, right? Now here LC is lower limit of column. Now here this terminology is added, right, in case of two-dimensional array. So LC means what? It is the starting column index of your matrix. If this is not given, still you have to consider as 0, right? So in the problem, in the numerical, this LR and LC would be given to you. If they are not given, you have to consider it as 0. That is, your array is starting from 0, 0. That you have to assume, right? Rest of the things will be same. I is row subscript of element whose address is to be found. J is column subscript of the element that you need to find. So these two are the you want to supply at first, right? This width will always be given. So this is our two-dimensional array starting from 0, 0. All right, that is starting location for both LR and LC will be 0, 0. Right. These are the locations. A of 0, 0. At the location A of 0, 0, I am storing 8. At location 0, 1, I am storing 6. At location 0, 2, I am storing 5. And 0, 3, 4. All right. Now you can observe that the value of I is 0 here in all the 4 elements, right? A of 0, 0, A of 0, 1, A of 0, 2, A of 0, 3. So 0 is common here. That means we are storing the elements at the zeroth row, right? Here 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. So these 4 elements are present at the row number 1. Here 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2 and 2, 3. So these 4 elements are stored at row number 2. Right. Now first of all, we need to convert this two-dimensional array into a single dimensional array. Right. Now here we are representing this array into a row measure arrangement. All right. What is row measure arrangement? Again, we will store the elements as per their rows, right? So 8, 6, 5, 4, 8, 6, 5, 4. These were the 4 elements of 0th row. After that, elements of row number 1, 2197. So 2197, and then 3642. So just here we have converted this 2 by 2 matrix into a single dimensional array. Starting address here I am considering as 100. All right. So that means array is starting from 100 and the width of a particular element is 1 here. All right. Even if I am storing some integer type of value, but for the simplicity I am considering the width equal to 1. Okay. So base address is 100, width is 1. All right. Now to find the address of element A of 1, 3, we have to find out the address of element stored at 1, 3. So 1, 3 means what? Row number 1 and column number 3. That is this 7. So the 7 elements address we want to find out inside the memory. So for that particular purpose, we have this formula B plus W multiplied by N multiplied by I minus LR plus J minus LC. Okay. Now we already have all the values of these all the variables contained inside this formula, right? B is what here? 100. That is the base address. Width is what? 1 multiplied by. Now n is what? Number of columns. Right. Now inside this, how many number of columns are there? 0, 1, 2, 3. That is total 4 columns are there. Right. So 4 is the value for n multiplied by I minus LR. I is what? I is the subscript of the element for which you want to find out the address. That is this one, 1, 3. These are the subscripts, right? So this is the value of I and this is the value of J. So 1 minus LR. LR is what? Starting address of row. So starting address of row, that is starting subscript of row. So that is 0 and LC is what? Again 0. So we are starting to store our array from 0, 0 location. Right. So 1 minus 0 plus J is what here? 3. So 3 minus 0. So if we calculate all this, the answer would be 107. Right. That means at location 107, this element 7 is actually stored in the memory. That is this one. All right. Now, what is this formula all about? See here, we have to find out the address of this location, right? 1, 3. That is this 7. Now, in order to reach here, how many cells the system has to skip? That we need to find out, right? For that purpose, we need to have the base address, that is 100. From this base address 100, we are going to skip some cells in order to reach at our desired location, right? So this 100 plus size will also be required, that is 1 multiplied by. Now here, how many columns we have to skip in order to reach to a particular cell? So total number of columns are what? 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 columns are there. So we have to skip 4 columns, right? Multiplied by I, that is this 1 minus LR, that is starting. Starting from what? Starting from 0, right? Plus J is this one, and again LC is what? 0. So how many locations you have to skip? That is indicated by this formula, right? 4 columns you have to skip. Then how many rows you have to skip? That is indicated by I minus LR. So here I is what? 1 minus starting from 0. So 1 row you have to skip, right? 4 columns you have to skip, 1 row you have to skip. And now inside that, how many again cells you have to skip? That is indicated by J minus LC, right? So here J is what? 3 and it is starting from 0. So 3 minus 0, that is 3. So 1, 2 and 3. These 3 cells we have to skip in order to reach up to 7, right? So 4 columns at first we have to skip, 1 row we have to skip, and after skipping both of these things, to reach at particular location we have to skip again these 3 cells. All right, so that is indicated by this formula. So I have taken this example to reach here 1, 3. You can find out the address of all these locations by using the same formula. You will get the exact memory location of each and every element by using this formula. Okay? Any problem in this? Okay. Similarly, for finding out the address of a particular element inside the memory by using column measure format. This is the formula. All right. Here also we are following the same logic, but only the thing is elements will be stored in column measure format. Right. Here 8, 2 and 3 will be stored first. 8, 2, 3. Then 6, 1, 6. Then 5, 9, 4. And lastly 4, 7 and 2. 4, 7 and 2. All right. The formula is same, only some M and N we are considering here, right? In the row measure format, we have to find out how many columns we need to skip, and in column measure format, we have to consider the how many rows we want to skip. All right, so that is M here in case of column measure, and in case of row measure we are considering the N. All right. Now this looks very easy. If you know all these values, you can anytime calculate the address. But in some cases, it is not so simple to calculate the address. All right. As you can observe here, in this numerical, an array X of minus 15 to 10 and 15 to 14. This is the array. All right. This array requires 1 byte of storage. So value of W is 1 here. If beginning location is 1500, that is base address is 1500, we have to determine the location of the element stored at X of 1520. Okay. Now we will come here. Usually the number of rows and number of columns of a matrix are given in the problem itself, like A of, let us say, the size, row size is 20, or column size is 30, or row size is 2, column size is 4. Likewise, it is given in the problem itself. All right. But if it is given as this format, that is A of LR UR, that is the starting of row and upper limit of your row, starting address of your column, upper limit of your column. If it is given in this format, in that case, you do not know how many rows are there, how many columns are there in your matrix, right? So you will explicitly need to calculate the values for M and N. That is how many number of rows are there and how many number of columns are there. You have to find it out on your own by using this formula. All right, UR minus LC plus 1 for calculating the number of rows, and UC minus LC plus 1 for calculating the number of columns. So this problem falls into that category, right? Here the rows, number of rows and number of columns have not given directly. Now you have to work on this and find out the number of rows and number of columns in your matrix by using this formula, right? Now the rows subscript is minus 15 here, right? That is your row index, starting row index is minus 15 and it is going up to 10. So how many how many rows are there? That you can find it out by using this formula. UR is what? Is 10 minus LR, that is starting subscript, that is minus 15. So 10 minus minus 15 plus 1. So it will give you 26. All right. So starting from minus 15 to 10, there will be 26 rows, right? You can calculate it. Minus 15, minus 14, minus 13, minus 12, minus 11, up to 0, and from 0 to 10. There are exactly 26 number of rows here. All right. Here also number of columns starting from 15 to 40. So UC is what? Upper limit of your column, that is 40, minus LC, that is starting address of your column, that is 15. So 14 minus 15, that is 26. So this matrix is a 26 by 26 matrix. 26 rows are there and 26 columns are there. All right. Then rest of the things they have already given. Width is 1 byte. Starting location is, that is B is what? 1500. Right. And we have to find out X of 1520. So here all the values are now given. B is 1500. Base address. From 1500 onwards, your actual matrix is stored in the memory. All right. As in the earlier case, we considered 100, right? So instead of 100, now we have to consider 1500, right? Then W is, width is 1 byte. I is here 15, that is the row index for the element whose address you need to find out. That is I, that is 15. And J is 20, that is the column index of the element whose address you need to find out. So 15. LR, that is starting of your row, minus 15. LC, starting of your column, that is 15. M is here 26. So 26 rows are there, right? And for finding out the row measure, here you will consider N. Okay. So by knowing all these values, just putting these values in the equation, in the formula, you will find out the actual answer.